Okay. The bridge housing opening up next week. This is the old MTA bus yard. Here we go. You can Google this. Let's see. How you doing there, mister? Bathrooms?
All ginger. No. It's the shower.
Do you have the door?
Oh. No, I'm just.
I didn't want to let it drop.
Oh, thank you. I got it. This is one of the bathrooms here.
I know. This is better than my condo.
Mine too. That's wonderful.
I'll make this available to people who want their clothes even if
That's a good question. That's a good point.
because I just saw the cleaning team getting around with one of those trucks that had
This is the bridge housing that's opening up on Tuesday. I got invited to come and record this. These are the showers.
Oh, no.
Hey JW, and these are the showers here.
No, just take a sticker and you can wait for your tour. No, you can just wait down here, and as soon as we get about a dozen people together, we'll send you out. Where do you want us to go? It's covered area right there.
Can I get a sticker?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Is that for the tour?
Yes, it's for a tour.
Okay.
Yes. Get your sticker.
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right.
I want your sticker. If you need a sticker, it's an Ariana.
St. Joseph's.
You got one?
We're gonna get a tour in a minute.
I said hello and everything. You can come on my tour. Come on my tour. All right, come on my tour.
Okay.
Anybody who has an orange sticker, you can come with me.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, say something else. All right,
All right, we're gonna go. We're actually meant to go one way, but we're gonna go the other way because I want to avoid the crowds.
Why we gotta go do it?
All right, come with me. Let's go this way. We're gonna go to the where the young people are gonna be sleeping first of all. I like that.
For some reason, they don't want this class.
So we'll gather over here, and I'll tell you a little bit about what's up.
2008.
What's your name, love?
Laddie.
Laddie. Oh, I've met you before, Laddie.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm
Pamela
Alison.
Anderson.
Pamela Anderson. Well, that's a very nice name. All right, welcome, guys. Hello. Hi, Brian. You get a sticker? You can come on my tour if you want. Anybody can come on. So these trailers here, the 5 trailers that are around here, these are specific for you. And then the big tent over there is a single adult. We'll go in everywhere. I'm going to take you inside one of the transition age youth, TAY. We use all these jargons in our field. Transition age youth, we're going to go in there and you're going to get to see one of the trailers. And then we're going to go and see all other pieces of the site. All right. And we can spend a little bit of time in here. 54 youth and 100. And they're all ready to
How you doing?
I'll tell everybody gets here, I'll tell you some of our plans that we're working on. Hi Brian, thank you for being here and support. Yeah, everybody gets their own cubicle. We're working on making things look prettier by having some artwork on the walls and we're going to have some cork boards so people can decorate their own little spaces. We're working on all of that now. But each individual youth will get their own little cubicle and a lock, and then they can bring their own stuff underneath as well. But yeah, we really want to have something really colorful and beautiful on all the walls, but we're working on it.
I like the outside murals.
Aren't they gorgeous? It was 3 local artists did those and then worked with Spark to print them. So we hope to do more with those guys and maybe have those along the top there. So yeah. So it's 54 youth across 5 trailers, and so one of the trailers is smaller than the other. So yeah.
How do they pick who gets to stay there?
It's all done through, the lists are already being coordinated through the coordinated entry system. So the list of folks that are for the single adults, the lists have been put together for months and months and months, and the youth are already being prepared. Part of their intake has been done, and actually the way that we're doing, we're going to invite the youth to come to Spy, have the rest of their intake done, and then brought over in smaller groups so it's less intimidating.
How long can they stay?
They can stay here. Well, Bridge has it, so it's meant to be 3 to 6 months, but we know that sometimes it's going to take a little bit longer because of the housing shortage. But we're working hard to have the housing, the permanent housing, ready and waiting for the folks that come in here. So we'll be working with our partners at Share, Brian over there from Share. So those guys will be coming on site and working with our case managers, and we'll be looking at all of the resources available, whether it's permanent supportive housing, rapid rehousing, or shared housing. And then, as many of you probably know, with young people, oftentimes there's a lot of reunification that goes on, a lot of family. And SPY as an organization for the last 8 years, when there were very few resources specifically for youth, we've been sending hundreds of youth home for years and years and years. So, and reconnecting them with their families if they have one. If they have one. So, in a healthy way. So we have a clinician and a case manager that works together, and they build a relationship with our individual youth and then connect them, whether they've got somebody in another state or whether it's somebody, local. So we do a lot of reunification. And what we find happens, have you guys heard about our host home program? We have a host home program at SPY. So one of the housing resources we have is we have members of the community who have welcomed youth into their own homes. So individuals like all of us in this space who have opened up spare bedrooms. What the greatest resource we have in LA is spare bedrooms. We're not going to completely build our way out of this issue, but we need to build, but we know we have 1 million spare bedrooms. So we've been utilizing those spare bedrooms, and what we see, as soon as a young person has somewhere to safely sleep at night, a lot of the other behaviors fall away, and then they can start thinking about reunifying, start thinking about how they hold down a job, start thinking about going to school. So this is what our hopes are for the 54 youth that will continuously be moving through this space.
So as community then, do you have a wish list on your website so we can drop off bagels?
Good question, Lydia. We do. We have on our website, we have a wish list that is mostly focused on our work at our access center. And what we've planned to do here with our partners at PATH is we're going to move in, get everybody in, and then we're going to look at that for here. It's going to be pretty turbulent for folks. Some of our folks have been living on the streets for a long time, and they need to come in here and create their own community with our help. So we wanted to kind of take our time to get that going, but very much so. Those of you that know SPY, we literally could not open our doors without our volunteers. So we will absolutely want volunteers here as well, bringing socks and underwear and clothing, and maybe coming and teaching a class, maybe doing a poetry writing class. Sorry.
time do you open? What time can they leave the grounds? What time do they have to be back?
Okay, so there's very few rules. One rule is folks have to let us know if they're not coming back by 11 p.m. at night. And of course, many of the folks that we provide services to work at night.
Yeah.
So some folks won't be coming back at night, they'll be coming back in the daytime. But you know, one of the things, and we're following Pat's lead on this because they've done this so many times before, the fewer rules you have, the less people are going to break it. So we're keeping it really, really simple with the rules. So folks can come and go just like we can come and go to our homes. So it's very, very, very low barrier. But we do expect folks to let us know whether if they're not going to get back here at 11 o'clock at night. And there'll be a bed count every night, and there'll be security here every night. But pretty flexible. Good question.
Or is there boys dorm?
There's much discussion around that. So we've gone with we're assigning bungalows to male and female. We have a teeny tiny trailer, one little one with, I think it's 6 beds, and we're actually going to leave that a little bit more open because we have a number of trans folks and non-binary folks in our community. So we're hoping to keep that, and you know, we're trying to be nimble. And we're learning from Pat that we don't know all the answers right now. And the folks that we're going to be welcoming in, they're going to help us. They're going to help us know and how to create community. Exactly. So, and you know, we'll go through, I would imagine, it'll be one way when we welcome everybody in, and then we'll go through a process. So, but yeah, so Spy has hired a team of 10 folks who are going to work split shifts. They're going to be, their shifts are 7 a.m. till 3:30, and then 3:30 to 11 p.m. So we're going to have pretty heavy staff. And the way that we staffed it is we'll have case managers, we're going to have an education employment specialist as well who's going to be here. And the idea is to bridge the services here to the services that we have at Lincoln. So making sure that what the work that we've been doing there also comes over here, and then the young people will be going over there. So, you know, those of you that know Spy well, we like to keep people really busy. There's a lot of activity, a lot of focused activity, and it works really well for our youth because we've got lots of energy, as we
How
know.
about identification?
I'm sorry?
How about, do they have identification to come and go?
So they'll be on a list. They'll have to give their name as they come through the gateway. Yeah. And we'll work, and folks that don't have IDs, we'll work with them to get, I mean, that's the first, when our case managers, the first thing we work on is getting an ID, because of course it's impossible to accomplish anything without an ID, so.
If they have to get a California ID by next October or something.
Yes, I think they do, yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Alice.
No worries, wait, let's go, shall we continue with the tour? We have one more question and then continue with the tour, sorry.
How many times before when they violate some rule, how many times is it before you expel them?
Well, it's not as black and white as that. Our teams will be working with folks and figuring out what's coming up for them. So it's not as black and white as that. But of course, the main rule is that you've got to be safe to yourself and others in the space. That's the same rule that
Can you bring weapons in?
we will not be searching anybody, but there will be an amnesty box. Yeah. So people can relinquish weapons and whatever they choose into an amnesty box.
Does that mean they can pick them up as they go out?
If they belong to them, they'll give them over to us, and they'll have access to them.
How many out of the 54 people will be from outside of Venice?
All of the folks that are welcomed in here are prioritized because of their proximity to this location. So that's the bridge model is the folks that are on the list, single adults and youth, are all very geographically close to this location.
You know the perimeters of geography that we're speaking of?
I do. I mean, there's a map. It's quite large, so it's Venice.
And the
No,
Santa
no.
Monica border to Western.
Well, that's the security map.
Yeah.
That's the canal cleaning.
Should we move to the next spot?
Yes, let's do it. Okay, fantastic. I'm thinking we're gonna go to the other side. Hi. Let's go this way.
Just tuned in, we're having a tour of the bridge housing that's opening up on Tuesday.
These are all youth beds. And you know, we hope love to have basketball nets. We brought table tennis table over. We've got a foosball table. We love to have like lots of action, lots of things. Oh, now this one is where
What's this one?
this is youth as well, but it's smaller as well. So
Is this the start of the other tour?
you can come on our tour. We went backwards. We started in the youth beds in the women's halfway.
So Allison, all these are youth bundles.
Yes, all of this is youth. And then this is where everybody's going to eat. This is the dining area.
Right.
Here.
And this is the office right here.
And this is the office. We'll go in there after.
Okay.
Well, this is the sprung tent where all the single adults are going to go.
So it's so close to Venice Family Clinic.
Oh, they're going to be on site.
Oh, okay.
Venice Family Clinic are going to be on site.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
They're going to be here at least one day a week, and we're working on more.
Awesome.
So,
All right.
Yeah. So let's gather in here, and I'll tell you a bit more about this space before we go this way. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming for a tour. All right, so let's wait till everybody gets in here. Hi. Gate question at 12. Come on in, guys.
Hi, TD.
So this is the main tent, what we call the sprung tent. And there's an office there and an office there. And then there'll be tables and chairs set up in here so folks can hang out. And we can do group work in here, community work. We're probably going to have a TV on the wall. And then what else? And then there's going to be computers in here as well, which is really exciting. And then on this side here are the beds for the female guests, and on this side is for the male. Let's go to this way first because we seem to be blocked there. Okay. Alright. Oh.
Sorry, we got tough traffic.
And there's still work going on, so just be careful, guys. You can go all the way in. Let's go.
Okay.
Cubicles with the.
How many adult age?
It's 100, and so in both rooms there's 100. Yeah, 100. Yeah. No, 100 in total. Yeah. So this is the male side, and then that's the female side. Male and female identifier. So yeah. Sorry,
Is there a limit to how much stuff you bring in? Or like,
Yes,
how do they decide
2
what to bring?
bags. They're meant to, everybody's invited to bring 2 bags worth of stuff, and I would imagine it's going to be a challenge to stay on top of that. I think at other sites it is because
I'm looking at the things that are on the beds.
yes, isn't it cute? So we had a whole group of volunteers here this morning. Some volunteers from SPY and some volunteers from CAP and others from the community who came and made these little packs and made these cards. And we'll need a regular resource of that because there'll be 154 moving in the next week or so. But then, people will be moving through, so we're constantly needing welcome deck. And it'd be nice to have maybe some nicer blankets, and we're trying to bring in as many nice resources as possible. And
Are you doing job programs too for them?
yes, well, so we're hiring an education employment specialist who's going to be on site here as well, and then task-based managers are going to do that, and chrysalists are going to co-locate here. We're figuring out the structure of who the partners are going to be. Like I said in the trailer, we're trying to we want to get everybody in and get everybody settled, and then we're going to where's Brian for Share? Is he still here? Then we'll have the Share folks coming in, and Venice Family Clinic are actually going to be here on Tuesday when we start welcoming guests. They're going to be doing TB testing for the folks that come in. So we'll be partnering a lot with folks across the community, and we're still figuring those pieces out because we need to just get everybody in and get everybody settled, and then we'll start working on that piece.
For married people.
No, folks who are married or in couples can be here, but they can't be together. They can be on site together, but not in a
Girls and boys.
Girls and boys, exactly.
What about pets and animals?
Oh yes, let's do that. Maybe we can go down this way. I don't know if we can get out. Let's see if we can get out this way.
Allison, do they have bike racks outside for the bike?
We're working on bike racks.
Okay.
We're working on
All right.
it, and we're talking about having a bicycle mechanic school here.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can get out that door.
They're going to want to bring their bikes inside then. No, I would. I wouldn't want to be outside.
Let's go out the back door this way. This is where the Yeah.
Yes.
My favorite is the one with the agave around the corner. When you go around that way, it's just gorgeous. I love it. Come on out, guys.
Okay, so Chase, somebody will be ready.
Chase is our volunteer manager. He's amazing. Oh, please. He's awesome. So this is an exciting piece, which is pretty new to the shelter world. I'll wait for everybody. So we have our own little dog park here. And then, a little dog park, which is awesome.
Nicer than the Venice dog park.
It's cute. It's cute, isn't it?
And cats.
And cats, well, you know, we'll have cats, we'll have squirrels, we'll have birds, we'll have all sorts of things. And then we're actually, you see that little sign there? It's been knocked over. Somebody wants to put it up. We're going to have Venice Community Healing Gardens. They're going to be here, and that's going to be a garden. So, and folks that are living here can participate in the garden.
For the, it's amazing.
Dog park for the homeless dogs.
Homeless animals.
Bring their pets with them.
Oh yes, they can bring pets
And where do the pets stay?
with the guests.
Inside?
Yeah, inside. Yes. Yeah. They can have them in the kennel or they can have them in the bed. It's super low barrier. And actually, for those that have been to Spy, you come on site. We have a lot of pets on site, and we rarely have any issues. Rarely. The pets are very well trained for the most part. So, here is the dog park. Yeah, a little dog park. Sorry, I started talking before everybody got out the door.
How about a workout space?
Well, I'd love to have a workout space. We'd love to have that. I think it would be great. We can't actually use anything beyond there. That's out. Yes, Del?
Is this safe dirt? Because isn't this where the MTA?
Like, it's gonna be bedding,
They're gonna build beds.
Oh,
They're gonna build beds. Yeah, above it. Yeah.
Because it looks like they just like
It's a good question.
dug in the concrete and
It's a very good question.
open dirt.
So they have little storage boxes around, and that'll be here, and they'll have access to them. Yeah, they'll be locked away so that
So
Will the dogs receive any flea control, like treatment?
Oh yes, they will. We're going to have an organization called Pets and Pals here on Tuesday that'll be offering flea control and also access to veterinary services and leashes and collars and things like that. And they do dog training. They'll be up there. We're hoping to have them regularly on site. And most of the folks on the street, they really want resources for their pets and dog food and all of that. And actually, just before we start walking, because there's a big group of us, so the beautiful dolphin mural we've got here, those are the restroom and shower and laundry trailers. There's two sets of them. There's a big one here that's mostly for single adults, and on the other side. And now I think we should go round. We'll actually go on the other side of that, and I'll show you where the administrative trailers are, where there'll be the case managers will work with individuals and do group work. Sorry.
How many attendants will be stationed in the main quarters here for the men? How many attendants will be
How
in
many
there?
staff on site?
No, in that building when at night and so on, or in the day,
So,
making sure that
It depends
they're
what
not
time of
bothering
day
each
it
other.
is. It depends what time of day. At night, there's going to be 4 security guards here that
in
will
the
be
whole facility.
that will be constantly roaming and moving
So
around.
sometimes there'll be nobody in there.
Oh no, there'll be somebody probably stationed in that space there, and then moving around.
Do
Yeah.
you have cameras to observe
Yes.
what's going
There's
on?
cameras everywhere. Cameras.
When do you open in the morning and close at night?
It's open 24 hours a day, but we ask folks to be back at 11 and let us know if they're not going to be back at 11.
Okay, can they stay in their cubicle all
Yes.
day as long?
Yes.
There's no wake up call or anything
No,
like that.
but the way that you do progressive case management, we'll be engaging with folks all the way through. It's not like we're going to let people just come in and sleep the whole time they're here. I mean, some people will come off the street and need to sleep for a few weeks to gather themselves, because it's, they're bringing a lot of trauma off the streets, and hopefully they'll be able to stabilize here once they're on site here.
Have you figured out breakfast, lunch, and dinner times
Oh
and all
yes.
that?
So There's going to be 3 meals a day, and we're going to have a mobile kitchen unit. I'm not allowed to call it, what do we call the kitchens? The food truck. I'm not allowed to call it food truck, but it's a mobile kitchen. And they're going to serve 3 meals a day, and I think it's 160,000 meals a year out of that. They're packed. They're over here. Let's go back that way. Sorry. Any more questions before we go?
If you miss a meal.
If you miss a meal, you miss a meal. Yeah, I mean, I don't think people will, but I mean, yeah, but I think I get what we'll do. Go to the number. Let's go on the other side of the square and walk down the middle. After a few weeks, we'll kind of balance out. Probably won't need to do 154 meals 3 times a day. It'll be maybe slightly less because some people will be going to work. And, you know, we'll get into our groove. This will all be cordoned up there, that piece there, so everybody, you all came up through the ramp, yeah? Everybody will come up through the ramp. There'll always be somebody in this hut here, checking everybody as they come through. These are all the back rooms. We're going to go around the corner here and into the administrative. Yeah. We hope to have more murals. The murals are gorgeous. I love them. It was Francisco Letier, I can never say his last name, and then a couple of other guys. Yeah, they're awesome, aren't they? They're beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you for coming. Awesome. Thank you for coming.
I volunteered at TCC.
Oh, I love it.
I went over there.
Oh, thank you. This is the greatest thing. I love it. We're going to scoop around, guys, and go in this way. Yeah.
Okay, we'll take that.
Are you keeping on? Are you coming?
Yeah, sure.
Hello. How are you? Oh, you are. I've got to do this one last piece here. Hi. Hi, guys.
Hello, how are you doing?
Welcome.
Hey, Allison, how are you?
The day has
Nice
come.
to see you.
Yeah. All right.
It's the captain of a Pacific Division.
So I'll wait until everybody comes in here. Hey, Butchie. Hey. Hey. All right. Hi. I just barely recognized you.
She's totally me.
Oh, Lord. I was like, who's that very lovely girl? Come on. Come on in, guys. So, hi, how are you? Nice to see you, darling. Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, I think we'll start. So this is where a lot of the administrative work is going to happen. This is the kitchen that we still need to figure out how we're going to use it because these teeny tiny cupboards are not going to do it. But we're in the process of figuring it out. All of these trailers were made off-site and then brought on. And then changing anything is a little challenging. But we're going to walk through and go out the other side. And all of these rooms right now are used for storage. We've got kitchen equipment in some of them, and then we're going to have Venice Family Clinic's going to be inside here. Spy staff are going to be here, and PATH staff are going to be in here as well. And then we're working on getting a computer room at the end so folks can come and use the computers. But let's walk through here. A couple of restrooms for our staff. And a lot of the furniture was donated by Snapchat, so you might see some Snapchat signs. Just threw that in there for Rick. That was especially for Rick. So all the desks and all the chairs were donated by Snapchat when they left Venice. So
you know what?
They're
all the better. Win-win.
So your favorite subject, Rick. All right. And then, hi,
Allison. Oh, of course, it's always my pleasure.
amazing.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm cool.
Yeah, amazing. You made the cut.
You were. I spent the whole night in tears. I was. The things that people said were so beautiful.
I know.
It wasn't
really
beautiful.
I'm happy.
And we were robbed because it was overwhelmingly positive. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Anyway, whatever. We'll get there.
We'll get them next time.
Well, we will get it next time. I'm not going to hit anybody, am I? Yes, darling. So we'll have our staff, a lot of our staff are clinicians and social workers, so they'll be providing case management, counselling, and then we'll be working with DMH, will be on site, they'll be co-located here, so we'll have all of our partners coming on site, so we'll create a continuum of care and wraparound services. I've been told I've got another tour I've got to take on, And then there are all the bathrooms here and access to laundry and showers, and we're going to need a ton of hygiene stuff. So fantastic, thank you. Any other questions? Don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you for coming today. And we'll, yes, no one No, only residents, yeah. Hi. Hi. All right, oh yeah.
Right here.
Okay, all right, hello. I just,
you are safe. Don't worry about me. I'm already Huh? Yeah, mainly, mostly. But I'm a plant like a previously celestial being, so I can do other things that are not great. Sometimes people look at me and say that's cannibalism if I eat green things because I'm so green. So I don't know. It's all good. It's a pleasure to meet you. I think we're taking pictures, but I don't know. Oh, Michael, are we ready for this group? Yeah. We can do it with your camera too. Hello, brother. How you doing?
All right. How you doing?
Here we go again, taking root and branching out. Good. It's always wonderful. You're high. Just lean on me like a tree. Just make believe from a tree. You can lean right on me, yeah?
Oh, I love it.
It's awesome. We'll do a couple. Trees. How's this one? And if you could do me one where you grab my, oh, you do a tree pose. We love that.
Oh, that's a great one.
Isn't that cool? And then somebody grab my branch right there. Grab that branch and grab that one. Just make believe from a tree. Just hanging on to it. There we go.
Love it.
Oh, yeah. Three pictures. Here's my hat. Oh, take a picture of my website.
Yeah, I've seen
That's a really good choice. And we will get a picture outside there.
It's funny.
I'm on 30 rows. Can you have random, like, checkups on the situation? I'm not just on Friday things anymore? Or?
Yeah, so what I'm saying, so Monday through Friday, as I understand it, I'm not in charge of sanitation, but Monday through Friday, it'll be 5 days a week. So, like I said, ideally we'll see more trash.
And they're not allowed to put their stuff on the sidewalk, their homes and everything, right?
So no one at any time is allowed to put anything on your private property. The sidewalk is, they have to maintain ADA compliance. That's the general laws for 4118 and 5611. So 5611 basically goes,
I'm not taping you.
5611 basically covers property, and then 4118 covers people. And so that's the idea of everything. Within the designated zone is that they'll hopefully you get a compliance.
Yeah, let's do it talking alone. This is like,
we're under harassment just like everyone else.
So by comparison, if you guys want to go check it out, if you go up in the Hollywood area, Trader House is their bridge home. You can go check out the area around Trader. Trader's only 72 beds. We have double that, 154 beds. So you can go get an idea of what Trader looks like. It's been open about almost a year. I know. All right. Pleasure to meet you. Good seeing you. Take care.
Hey, Captain.
See you. How you doing, sir?
Listen, LAX has a crisis intervention team.
Has a what?
Crisis intervention team for the homeless. Crisis intervention
Okay.
team.
Okay.
Because I was over there on 3rd and Rose the other day, and I saw the cops attack this one. So it was like 7 cops for one guy.
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, but I'm not against the cops. But I was wondering if there could be a better way of dealing with the homeless as far as bean bags and all that?
Well, it has nothing to do with the homeless. It has to do with an individual and their behavior. So if we have a lawful reason to be there, and we have a lawful reason to detain somebody, and they're non-compliant or they're combative, that may result in the use of force.
Yeah, because LAX has a new program now where they deal with a lot of cops come to the scene, but they deal with less violence.
We try to do everything with the minimal amount of force as necessary. So that's always our goal, and it's a case-by-case basis.
But do you have a special team though?
So the majority of our officers have gone through mental health intervention training, which is a 40-hour course specifically to deal with folks suffering from mental illness or in acute crisis.
Yes.
And so at Pacific Division, about 150 of our officers have already been trained in that.
Okay.
And so that's our goal.
No, I was just wondering because I walked past Gordon Rose, and I'm not sure you saw the video yet. The cop had the bean bag on the individual,
Right.
and then it was like 7 cops and 1 guy.
Right.
I guess they were doing the storage cleaning, and I guess the guy didn't have his tent down in time, and the cops rushed him. So I'm not against the cops.
Right.
I was just wondering it could be done in a better way.
So we always start with the lowest level, and what I'm saying, if we did anything other than handcuff somebody, then it was because they were resisting.
Okay.
And so that's an individual thing.
All right, thank you, Captain Morrison. I'm Tony VERA. Glad to meet you.
Okay, sir. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, I knew Captain Peters really well.
Yes, I know him very well.
He's a great guy.
Retired now.
Yeah.
Assistant chief.
But I'm not against the cops thing like that. You know?
Yeah, no. You're welcome to ask those questions anytime. I'd
Okay,
be
yeah.
happy to answer them.
And thank you for being polite and everything.
Yeah, no, not a problem. So, just so you know, the mental health intervention training was something we started a couple of years ago, and the goal is to get all our patrol officers through it. So all our senior lead officers went first, all our training officers went through it. They're the ones with the corporals, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and now we're working on getting everyone else through it. But at Pacific, we have about 150 officers who've already been through the training.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much. You answered all my questions.
You got it, sir.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, folks. I try to be polite. Be polite to me. St. Joseph's. How you doing? What's going on with St. Joseph's?
Well, we're tabling here, just providing information about our services. And my personal favorite is this card that tells you how to access services. If you go to lahop.org, they'll deploy street outreach social workers within 24 to 48 hours.
And what do you guys do?
The lead homeless service provider for adults and families on the west side.
Yes.
And we also do mental health, housing, education and vocational services, and homeless outreach and engagement throughout the county.
And what about the any kind of drug program or anything going?
We do, I'm not sure, actually. If you want to help answer that, drug programs for St. Joseph's Center?
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, but if somebody drinks.
Yeah. Do you know about LA?
It's a good question for Jose, actually, whenever he's ready.
Okay.
He's our C3 outreach lead. Hey, Jose, whenever you get the chance, we got a question here.
Yeah. If somebody wants help with drinking and drugs, you guys help with that?
Yes.
How's that work?
Well, we have a substance abuse specialist on our team. We meet with the client, we get their information, general information. We kind of gauge and see the level of willingness that they have.
Yeah,
if it's something that they really want. If not, we present the resources. But if they do want help, we would actually set up a time to meet with a substance abuse specialist. They would contact the detox or the residential treatment facility, see if there's any beds available, and as soon as there are some beds available, they would actually transport the client to the facility.
And they get the help there?
And they get the help there.
And you guys find jobs?
What's that for? We actually, if somebody's looking for work, we would provide a referral to Chrysalis.
Okay.
Which is over on Lincoln, Santa Monica. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jose.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate it, man. All right. I think my friend, he joined us. He was an alcoholic, and then he's not drinking anymore. And I think you guys hired him as one of your drivers.
Oh, okay.
So he's like totally, thank you for that, because he was drinking, he was a beer drinker, and he couldn't stop drinking. And he lost everything. He went to your program, and now he's doing good.
I'm actually a product of an environment that,
But you gotta want help though.
I know what it's like to be on the other side of this.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm 2 years without a drink, and I have to do it because I want to do it.
I got 10 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Because my girlfriend died a couple of weeks ago, and that's when you want to have a drink.
Right.
But I didn't have a drink. You got to be able to deal with life when it comes to you.
Right.
You know. All right. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right.
It's going to be slow and they will their way into it.
Do you have an office?
Our main location is off Beverly and Madison, but we do operate at 26 sites throughout the state of California.
Oh, I see. And
Yeah, that guy got to the house though. I was just trying to talk to the cop. The guy was like, I don't know what his problem was. Okay, so hope you guys enjoying this. There's no bashing. Hey, how you doing?
From the airport.
Oh yeah, I love the airport. Yeah.
How are you,
Oh yeah, I heard about you. You do a good.
Shareway.
You do a great job though.
Oh, thanks.
People was telling me about you.
About what? The homeless?
Yeah.
Here in the, yeah, right here on 3rd.
So what do you think about this?
I'm very excited.
It's long overdue.
A lot of my friends that live on 3rd Street in their cars and tents
Yes.
already have beds assigned.
I'm so happy, man.
I know, me too.
I was just talking to the captain because I walked past there on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And 10 cops attacked this one guy. I'm not against the cops.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, yeah.
But the airport, they have this new thing with the homeless.
Yeah.
They're trying to help people.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll get the help they need.
I know. And
You
I'm
know.
so sorry about Margarita.
Oh, that's really sad. Devastating. Thank you. All right. I didn't recognize you.
No uniform.
Yeah.
So these look like bathrooms, toilets, and then on the other side look like showers.
What was the question?
About how people were chosen to come into the site. So there is a list of people, people who will be coming in next week. That list has been created by the outreach team that have been working in the community for decades, really. But for over the past year, I've been talking to people about the site coming online. And while we didn't have a date necessarily, those folks indicated a willingness.
Hey, how you doing?
Some of them have actually had a chance to visit here to see what it's
Hey, Midtown.
Hey. People who are experiencing homelessness in a defined area around this. Once that list is, all those folks come in, there's a front list, a backup list. That's 300% of our 150. So 3 times 154. That number of folks will be on the list. People start looking at the process and using their own homes, reunite with families, or go on to a supportive environment. That list will be also from this defined area.
So David Bush.
From the Venice area.
What are your thoughts on this? I'm sorry.
We know that there's not many people in this area who experience homelessness now. The last town on this relevant so we know that we'll be able to clear the site for its intended purposes from this area. Sir, you had a question?
Yeah, the question was, of the people who come in here, how many do you estimate roughly are going to be going into housing versus shared housing versus maybe a bus ticket back to San Bernardino?
Wow, you know what? Every community is different, so I really can't give you a solid answer. I mean, certainly whatever option works best for that person, they're willing to pursue.
You're taking in the first 150. Do you have any idea how many Section 8 vouchers you have to distribute among that 150?
I do not, off the top of my head.
How many shelter beds, transitional shelter beds, you have to distribute to that first 150?
Well, this is a transition shelter, so people would be.
Well, I mean transitional housing.
Oh, you mean
so
like
supportive
a
services? Excuse me, permanent supportive housing. Forgive me.
Permanent supportive housing. Well, it kind of depends from that list where people are in terms of their individual
No, I'm asking
need.
you guys here who are running the shelter, how many permanent supportive housing? Yeah, and I don't. I'm just curious, how
Sure.
many, if you
It's
have
a
any idea how
wonderful
many you
question.
have?
I actually don't have an idea because I haven't met the people yet.
Because
The
right now we
outreach
already
teams-
have a huge shortage of that transition, of that permanent supportive housing. We already have a huge shortage of the Section 8 vouchers, and so you're looking to triple and double and quadruple the number of people feeding into the pipeline, and there's no exit for it. So how long before the water backs up and flows back out into the streets?
Did he ask, are you giving priority to people that have lived in Venice for a month or two or a year? Or do you take anybody?
It's people that
They could have been.
typically not dated. So the program, people stay as long as it takes to get them connected to services and support. That could be a permanent home. That's what we're hopeful for, and permanent supportive housing if that's appropriate for those people and it's available. You're absolutely right. There's a limit to that right now, and the idea of the Bridge Home project in general was to provide a space for
Yeah,
people
those are my
who are
rules.
experiencing homelessness to come off the street while that is being developed. I'm not personally a developer. I know there are lots of shovels in the dirt, and there's Measure H and H dollars that are being used to build that housing, but it takes time. We're also exploring shared housing. We're partnering with the share folks here on site here to provide that as an option for people as well. So
It's going to take a while, though.
it's going to take a while. You know what? You've got valid
So
questions.
it might be a while before all 800 here are currently on the streets here are even having an opportunity if they choose to take it.
Yeah, JW is the moderator, so please.
150 bed
You're absolutely right. This is-
narrowing funnel.
This is not the solution. This is a part of a much wider solution that the city is beginning to.
I do appreciate the steps, but I see the position the city has put you guys into. Take them all in, but they haven't provided you with the doorway out, other than back out to the streets.
Are there any drug fixers and people there?
That's a great question. It's a low barrier program. That means we don't require sobriety. If someone stumbles in, they stumble in, and we help them wherever they are. What we do, however, is if someone has a bottle or a weapon or something threatening, they have an amnesty box where we can hold that for them until they want to take it and do whatever they do with it. But they're not allowed to use substances here. If someone's smoking crack in the corner, we don't let them do that. It's not a free-for-all. But it is a space where people can be who they are and where they are, so we can meet them.
But it's more mostly all gun. It's not even fighting.
I don't even want to talk about it. It must be confident. It must be.
But the truth is that evidence-based practices are
Still here and there, not as
we've used other types of
not as much, but towards all the countries.
variety.
So all the
You're allowing
So you live through.
I want these questions.
To me,
I thought it was to the guy.
one side here that's the same. But let's come in here and just kind of get a sense of the strong structure, if you will. Concrete slab and steel frame and a top membrane, all climate controlled, so air conditioning,
That's activist David Bush.
Some people have asked questions about
Google his name, you see who he is.
gender or neutral. You see tours going each way, and it's going to be a bit of a backlog for us in here right now. But maybe what we could do, let me just point, there's two case management offices here in the site. Our case managers from PATH and from SPY will be on site every day, 7 days a week, from 7 in the morning until 11:30 at night. Our quiet time is 11 o'clock, where we ask people to turn the lights down. We ask people to be quieter, as quiet as they can. We're not babysitting people, but we're also trying to create an environment where people can get rest, come in off the streets, heal from the trauma. you put 100 people in a front structure, it's not going to always be a healing environment. We're going to do the best that we can to help manage that. And our case managers are right here in the building. The SPY case managers will also be in the buildings with people during the day. People can come and go from the site. They're not restricted from leaving. And while we ask people to be on site by 11 o'clock at night, there are lots of times when people are working, trying to get their lives back together, or whatever, and they usually let us know, and the guards at the gate will know who's coming in late, who's on the list. There's no visitors, there's no friends that can come in, there's no line out front, and there's no encampments allowed in the area. The defined area around the shelter is called an enhanced zone for cleaning, for sanitation, and for law enforcement. LAPD will have a black and white car circulating this area 24/7 as part of the process of having a bridge home in the community.
So once they're in here, they own the bed until they're out. So leave for the night, you don't fill the bed.
That's correct. There's typically a time frame where if someone goes AWOL and doesn't come back, then we discharge them from the program. And that,
Yeah, please no drama, folks. We're not here for that.
I'm sorry. At any rate,
say someone's gone for a day or two, we might be reaching out and saying, you know, we're going in and said anything. Or if they told us they're going to be gone for 3 days, we would only that here.
yeah.
Sure.
What about pets?
Pets? Yeah, it's a great
You can
question.
have dogs.
So people are allowed to bring their accompanying animals. One of the big barriers to supportive programs in the past has really been that folks were told they can't bring the one thing on the planet that loves them unconditionally with them, and they say, forget it. So dogs are welcome. They sleep in the cubicles with people. If it's a dog that needs a cage, we have those to provide. We can provide support and services. We're partnering with Pals and Pets. Cats, people have minor birds. They're a little noisy. Ferrets, I've seen pet skunks. I've seen it all. But mostly dogs. And a lot of pit bulls.
A lot of pit bulls.
So this is the common area?
This is a common area for the people who are here. We'll use this for sometimes gatherings. If it's inclement weather, people could meet in here. The outdoor covered area actually has heaters, so that'll be the space where people typically are taking meals. That's kind of also the interplay space for the younger folk and the single adults as well.
Will you have dog food and cat food, or they
You'll be
provide
able
their
to
own?
provide that, but typically what we do is encourage people to find those resources themselves.
You'll take donations, though, yeah?
Absolutely. So we can figure those details out. And I mentioned Pals and Pets. We're working with them. We're working on some grant support to provide for the people with animals. As we walk through, you'll see there's a pet area here. It's a gated area with a astroturf and some dirt area where pets can run free, and there's some water support there as well for both animals and humans with empty water bottles. So it's pretty nice.
So how many people in this one building?
This is with your question. Are animals going to be welcome? 37 female and the rest.
And I was saying to see who donated.
Were there any plans to add capacity, or is this the end
There's
product?
no plan to add capacity to the shelter. And it's the Bridge Home project, for those of you who've done your homework, you know, it's a 3-year program. So the idea is, at the end of those 3 years, that permanent housing is going to be available on people who are moving into it. Realistically, do I think that's going to happen in 3 years? That's a Hail Mary.
Is that the 3 years for this project, or is the whole bridge project?
Well, yeah, nobody knows.
We haven't had a shelter in Venice.
Right. So one of the things we're really happy about, I mean, PATH has been in the service to homeless folks for 4 decades. We started here on the west side outreaching to people, and we do street outreach across California now, from San Diego to San Jose. We also build permanent supportive housing as part of our portfolio. So we're well aware of how long it takes and the red tape and everything to get these things going, and we are looking for more affordable alternative solutions than the $500,000 each to build an apartment.
Thank you.
Right. And you know what? Those sites are fabulous, and people end up in a really decent place with case management support on site. It's really wonderful, but it's not realistic when you have 60,000 people on the streets in California. So we're trying. We're looking at every aspect of that. But in terms of operating the shelter, what we do here is try to create a safe environment where people feel cared for, and it's not, may sound hokey, but we're literally loving people back to good health and feel like they have a space where someone actually cares about them. And we've seen this happen time and again where the light comes back to someone's eyes, and you know, I won't get too mushy on you, but that's really what it's all about. And it's one person at a time, and everybody's life is different, everybody's circumstances are different, everybody's addiction, everybody's mental health, we're all different. So we work
You're not. I'm bringing $2.5 million a year to Los Angeles for homeless services while I'm sleeping on the sidewalks. So I don't know if I could do better if I was in here and they told me to get a job working in the warehouse. I couldn't donate that much.
You still don't support this?
No, I do support this.
Last time I talked to you, you thought it was a bad idea.
I think it's a bad idea to put it here because the largest on-the-street homeless encampment, the best place for those of us that don't fit here, is over on 3rd and 4th and around here.
But this is where the open land was.
You know, so I guess this is where they shouldn't have put in the enhanced enforcement. I'm not protesting this. I thought we could have made better choices. I thought maybe Triangle, over in Triangle Square would have been a better place to locate it.
I was shocked the last time I talked to you, and you were strongly against this.
You know, people thought that, and I don't know how they misunderstood that.
Maybe I did. Anyway, I think it's fantastic.
Well, I do too. I think it would have been better to put it over in the Triangle Square area. And not
Triangle Square, over by the library?
By Washington and that area over there.
Well, I think the homeless people can get here.
I think they can too. I just worry about they're going to displace a lot of the artists and the street performers.
Oh, please, David. What does this have to do with placing?
Well, because they created around here a 5-block area they're calling the enhanced enforcement zone. And if you chase them away from Google, they're going to end up on Indiana. They're going to end up back on...
Brother, I live here, right in this neighborhood, and I hope they enforce the 5. All I want to see is common sense. In other words, if you're out there on the street now with the beds available, and you spread your shit all over the place.
I don't see anybody spreading shit all over the place, but if that's what you want to call it.
Stuff. Stuff. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's be able to enforce some common sense. That's all I ask.
What do you think of this? What do you think of this? You know, it's 3rd Street right now. What if we had 2 full-time attendants out there? We were making friends with people, watching out for arguments, keeping the noise down at night. We had 2 toilets out there. One's ADA accessible and one's not, and it's open 24 hours a day. Nobody's shooting up in it, and nobody's breathing in it. And people, you know, the sidewalks were spray washed every other week. We made sure that there were no moldy mattresses out there, that there were no
every
rats.
week, not every other week.
That there were no moldy mattresses out there, that there were no rats out there. Did you have any objections to us having that as a place for homeless people?
I'd have to think about it, but I think...
somebody has to, because we got 27,000
Here's what I think. See, I think the reason that doesn't work is that it's too informal. I think they should take over Kenmore Golf Course and create tents there, large tents, and make that the next homeless shelter.
They're doing that in Echo Park, but I wouldn't want to see them take over the whole park.
The golf course. Yeah, let the golfers take one for the team.
We've got room. Thanks for, hey man, you and I talked today. We did a bridge.
Yeah. Bridge.
So what do you think, Dave?
We're building some bridges here, and we're creating some bridges out of town. It's a process,
yes.
You know, and it's in the hands of those of us in the community who step up and get involved. Please step up and get involved with your compassion,
yes,
with your understanding, because everybody knows 40% of the people of LA could be homeless tomorrow.
Yes.
According to every economist in the country, 40% of the people right now living in Los Angeles, the only thing you can actually afford is to be homeless. You're paying too much for your rent, you're paying too much for your housing. You know you're one doctor bill, one wrecked car, from one re-roof on your house away from losing.
Yes. Thanks, Dave. It's David Bush. You can Google his name, activist.
Trying to get them. There was a free event.
Once a week regularly as well. And also
What's your name? Molly. Yes.
Yeah, I'm with a group called VERA. We bring an orange food truck to the street for the past 8 years. Rain or shine, every day. And we serve vegan burritos, but we notice that a lot of people, there's a lot of pit bulls, and pit bulls are near and dear to my heart. Ladies used to have cats too. We want to be bringing dog food and cat food.
pay for this, the program itself is
the animals get a meal,
bare
and the owners get a meal. But I also, there was a vet that on Silver that used to get free services, and a lot of these guys that live on 30, they would bike with their dogs to get free dips, but then that grant ran out, and there's nobody to, and I couldn't get anybody to come down here to do anything like staying or neutering or, any services for cats. So I'm so thrilled to hear about this.
Some of the services that we will provide to the veterinarian daily, central microchipping. We just had a meeting with LA Animal Service. We will be registered with licensing every pet that comes into our shelter. We also have pet supplies.
Oh, you do? Do you take donations? Or do you?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So we'll do that. I have a question. If the owner is arrested and the dog is taken away, do you have any kind of access? Because that happens a lot.
It does. So that's why we found it so important that we have our staff on site. And so there are those situations that do happen. We do have our organizations that are fostering or will care for the pet here depending on if the owner gets out anytime soon, if the owner can no longer care for the pet, then we will find a good home.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's great.
So many great people that have animals. Oh, good. Yeah.
You miss it?
Sure. It's actually, we can find some or we can look on the other side.
Yeah, we can look. I don't mind.
Isn't this great?
It's a great start.
It's a great start.
Yeah.
That's
Bill Roosevelt would have loved this.
How many years overdue is this?
Yeah. But the community hates it. A lot of the community.
A lot of the homeowners. I know. They used to come in and
The community hates it. I think that a very vocal minority
yes.
Okay.
Mark Swinger
is frothing at the mouth and behaving very uncivilly about it.
Yes.
True. Very true.
I love David Bush.
So is this is the men's side or
This is the men's side.
Oh, okay.
So they
They have their little lock. What about bigger items? Like if you have to store bigger items.
I guess this is one of the double.
Some people do have to get night lights you can plug into USB, and you can see there's like the kind of thing. There's water, you can show you on right. That stays on at 9, so people can see around. There's a lot of natural light that comes through, but you're right, it's not a really good reading light.
David's the best.
Are males and females
This is what you are. Yeah, this is right.
Yes, this is men.
Activist David Bush Googling.
Did you change the color of your hair?
So the outreach teams that have been working with people have been helping them manage their stuff. So what we've told people is we really don't want you to have multiple bags, possessions that would fit. So there's a bin that everyone will get. Frankly, it's a trash can that you use at home.
Yeah.
LA Sand is providing what they lock. So nobody really wants to use them. They can wrap the things in plastic. They don't typically use them on our other side. Some do. Some people have hoarding issues, so we have to help manage. And we're inspecting the cubes every week and helping them manage. It's like, hey, figure out how to cut this down. Our approach is not punitive. It's not meant to.
Thank you, CM.
It's really meant to sort of help them.
I'll talk to you later.
Space where when they get to their own place, it's not going to be a disaster. We bring in, right. So first of all, when people are coming into the intake process, all their possessions are sort of into the hot box. So everything's being left.
See what they have in the bag. When you came through at the part of the rain and sunset, the only way down, typically that's just or the front. I mean, that's how we manage the sites. If when we it's not.
Well.
We're going to go. Let's go this way.
Women get an individual bed all by themselves, and men have to share a room. I wonder what the psychology of that is.
Yeah.
What is that?
Garden. Okay.
So you see the pet area here, friends. It's a gated area where the pets can kind of run free. There's some astroturf there, and some benches, and a fountain in the corner where there's a low one for the pets and a medium-sized one. Yes. There's really no other kennel support on the site the way it's been built.
I noticed how we're going at like how we like there.
We can connect you at the tables with our program support.
You're gonna have the storage bins back here, storage lockers, I think. I believe.
They have these part of the site for this project here. Beyond the gate, I have no idea what Metro is doing with that building, and that looks like a place they used to wash buses. But yeah, it doesn't look.
Somebody particularly dirty, you could power wash right there.
Yeah, I know. Nice setup. Huh?
Okay.
Let me ask you, sure, Steve, and you know, I do not mean to sound. It's a serious question. I do not mean to sound anything less than serious, but I certainly didn't mean to sound aggressive. But I'm curious.
Should have been on my last one.
Thank you. I heard you've had some rough tours today. So I'm curious. Okay, so right now, the understanding is that this facility is only going to be here for 3 years.
The Bridge Home is just, when it was first announced, was supposed to be a 3-year program.
Yeah,
That's
a lot of
basic
promises were
information
made.
I have. I don't see this kind of investment being made and being done with in 3 years.
I don't either. Certainly the need's still going to be here, but that was what they told the community. 3 years, and I guess it'll have to be reevaluated. They went through that in Santa Monica with San Michelle. It was only supposed to be for a year or two, and now San Michelle has been up and running for 20 years.
Yeah, I'm sure the Venice community would roast that.
You know, in the 20 years that San Michelle has been open in Santa Monica, they now house, they have transitional housing in the community, 1% of the community. So take the national average of homelessness at 1% or 0.5%. They've got about 800 units of permanent supportive and homeless housing in Santa Monica. So you think you can make a good argument that Santa Monica, unlike the city of LA, has done their fair share. You know, every community.
Right here?
Builds up. This is going to be
No. And we don't really have access. It's really kind of emergency pass-through kind of stuff. I mean, if a fire truck needed to pull it.
What is 1% of a million? 10,000? 10,000? 100,000? 100,000. So when the city of Los Angeles has created 100,000 units of permanent supportive and homeless housing, they will have brought themselves up to the level of Santa Monica in terms of taking care of their fair share of the need. Well, you know, that's another problem. But you know, until you're doing your fair share, how can you complain about, you know, the coming problem? Deal with the problem. It's your responsibility in this moment. And of course, that 100,000, there's going to be a waiting list for it. You know, and it's prioritize for people that have been in LA for 5 or 10 years, and that's kind of already the way it's working. You know, the 75% of the people who are homeless in LA County have lived in this county for 10 years or more. That's the statistic. The idea that people are flooding in here, we actually have more. If you take the number of people who are housed who come to LA and stimulate the economy, keep this economy humming, the percentage of homeless that come along with them is very small. Yeah, homeless people come here, but they don't really come here that vastly disproportionately to the number of people who come here and rent a house after somebody who's been here for 5 or 6 years and can't find an affordable, a job that pays enough to pay the rent, give up and leave. We have a tremendous churning in LA. The biggest people leaving the city are renters and homeowners because they can't afford it anymore. And they're fleeing to other states, and other people are coming in to try to give it a shot. So we turn this into
Mom, how you doing?
Churning up.
But if you're homeless,
Not really, because in Chicago and New York, 75% of the homeless are actually in shelters. Because they spend $1 billion a year, every year, to house and take care of their homeless. In Los Angeles, 75% of the homeless are on the street. It's the exact reverse. So there's no incentive for people to pick up here and become homeless. The incentive is for them to stay in Chicago or New York and stay in their housing situation. Another one of the myths that people like Tucker Carlson and those other wackos are trying to throw on people and you know, plaster Facebook with that are fake news. Look at the numbers. 75% of the unhoused or the homeless in New York are not unhoused. They're in shelters, and only 25%. Actually, this year it's down to 15%. And I remember in the 90s when it was worse. It was like 50% of the homeless were sleeping in the subways, and they were sleeping over heating grates in New York. The irony is, New York, it's Republicans like when they had the Republican mayors, they created big government programs and they raised taxes to take care of the homeless. They behaved like liberals in New York and Florida. In California, we had Democrats that were so busy trying to behave like Republicans. Oh, I'm not going to raise taxes. Oh, I'm not going to create any big government program. I'm going to dismantle them. That we ended up with the things in California, which would be the Republican problems, and they ended up with the liberal solution.
And that last name is
very paradoxical.
Sorry.
Yep, we filled every single one of them a week. Okay, thank you.
Even David told me that if he's been
Sorry.
people wouldn't want to come. No one want to come here because they want to live on the streets.
Wait a minute, say that slowly now.
The bridge, this bridge housing facility, people built it. A lot of people would not want to come because they prefer to live on the streets.
I didn't use those exact words, but I did say that there are a lot of people who would not come here, not because they prefer to live on the streets. Nobody. I don't believe, honestly, Gary Walker, anybody chooses to be homeless. I do believe that people do come to Venice to camp on the beach, to park a hippie van or be a flower child or be a busking musician, just like they go to Yosemite to camp out. This is a coastal zone. This is a place that draws 200,000 tourists a year. And there are people that do want to live an alternative lifestyle. The Buddha lived an alternative lifestyle. What would the world be today if the Buddha was forced into a shelter?
The good people of St. Joseph have a list, outreach list of 300 adults that want to come.
I think that's great. I want.
And I think it's like anything, what works for me and you and me, everybody needs something different. So this is a good option for some.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree.
And our teams and everybody serving people experiencing homelessness, we find what that option is. And the more options I have, the more successful we
Well, I totally agree. And it's like, as the council said, this is the first start to access all the rest of those options, be it from supportive housing, be it shared housing, be it moving in on your own. So this is sort of ground zero, but you have to start somewhere, right? And so
it's a good place to start.
Again, those 300 names on that list was encouraging, right?
Yeah.
And quite frankly, it should be for everybody. Yeah. Not just people who want to get picked up the street. It should be encouraging for people who live here too, right? Since they're the ones who want to.
I think this is a beautiful day today. I think it's a beautiful place. I think I have one big question though today, and that was the question that I asked the tour guide. I said, we have 150 beds here, and we're hoping to meet the needs of all 800 or 1,000 in this area within a year, and the residents are hoping to see that. I agree with you totally. The fact that we have a 300-person waiting list already on the first round shows that not everybody wants to be homeless. I agree. But the big question to me is, how many Section 8 vouchers? This 156 are going to take in the next 4 days. How many Section 8 vouchers do you have? How many beds in transitional and permanent supportive housing? How many beds even in shared housing are you going to be offering that first 154? Because the question is, or even how many I understand in San Francisco they have navigation centers. Are they going to be doing navigation here? Which is meaning, do you have a home back in San Bernardino?
Nice to meet you.
Do you have a home back in San Bernardino? Can we see a lot of the people, Gary? My understanding, Gary, and you should look into this, is that a lot of the people here, the main job these counselors are going to be involved in, since there's such a shortage of actual shelter here and beds and transitional supported housing, is that the best they're going to be able to offer them is a ticket back to San Bernardino. And we're going to see a massive.
I can speak to that. No, so there is definitely an affordable housing crisis, and so finding permanent options is hard. Like we need more, and so I think that's the key. We have the tools to get people into something permanent. It's just we need the thing. So the work continues. You need to continue to advocate for more affordable housing, rent control, shared housing, all the options. But some of it is people going back to their families.
What percentage right now? Because you're part of the CES. You guys are tracking this. Where they go, how they come in, where they came from, and where you're placing them. Right now, what percentage the people that go into this that get housed and don't just drop out, but percentage that complete a CES evaluation, what percentage are getting tickets out of town?
It's actually pretty low.
What percentage?
I would have.
10, 15?
I can't speak to it. I can get it back to you.
That would be wonderful.
I can get back to you.
Can I give you my phone number right now? Or give me your card?
Quite frankly, Colleen, isn't there permanent supportive housing being built all right now, and that's slated to be open later on this year and next year? I mean,
Yeah,
the units aren't there. Obviously, everyone agrees that there's not enough, but there is housing being built right now.
Absolutely. And most of the housing, well, so first of all, we do something called diversion, so try to get people reconnected
To their families.
To their
Diversion.
families,
It's not
yeah.
called navigation now, it's called diversion.
Yeah, and it's different, but it's all navigation actually. What we do is navigating the system, and so the key is how can we get people assess what they need, figure out what they're eligible for, what they want, of course,
Yeah, of
because
course.
client choice is really, really important.
You can't force somebody to get on a bus and go back to
No,
San Bernardino.
and we don't believe in that. So we figure out what the best options are, and then the key is let's figure out a plan. So we have case plans for every single person in here, and I think we're going to meet. I'm Colleen. Hi. Yeah, nice to see you.
Thank you very much.
One of the rumors, Gary, that I heard, maybe you should answer this question. One of the rumors that I heard was part of the sign-in to get accepted into here is that you had to sign a paper saying that if you didn't complete the program here, that you would be barred from, you would be basically given a stay-away order from this area for the rest of the year.
That's not true, so thank God,
Okay,
yeah.
so we can dispel that rumor?
Yes.
All right, that's the first time I've ever heard.
Yeah, so
It's a
no,
rumor that's going around the street.
everything is voluntary, so if somebody wants to be here, we
So you don't have to sign a promise that if you don't succeed in this program.
It's all,
That's good to hear.
Yep, so it's
Compared to percentage-wise, compare in your diversion versus your placement. Which is greater, more placement or more diversion?
we're trying to do more diversion, so it's a program that's pretty new. We've always done it, but not as probably methodically as we should. So
No,
we're
but
trying to
and it
do
takes a lot of
more.
money. You gotta pay to get people their transportation back. So we're diverting H and Triple H
But some
money
of it's
and
local.
state funding and local money.
most
rather than paying for housing and paying
It's actually cheaper to divert.
Oh, of course. It's a bus ticket back to Kansas is a lot cheaper than an apartment in Los Angeles.
But in LA though, and this is where if you email me, I'll send you the link to all the data. Most people who are homeless in LA are actually from LA. So
Of course, 75% have been here for 10 years or more.
Yep,
But this is a City of LA program, so you might divert them back to Culver City, or you might divert them back to Irwin. Well, Irwindale's not in it.
That's a county. That's a county.
Yeah. So that's county property. So
But that's- it's up to each
divert
one.
them back to Ontario. No, Ontario's San Bernardino.
Yeah. So it's just really
Pomona is LA.
yes. So yeah, it's really up to the client. So it's really client driven.
How many opportunities to get into the movie industry are there in Pomona?
I don't know.
How many opportunities?
I picked the wrong.
How many opportunities?
For you, David, every day.
How many opportunities are there for somebody in Pomona to get a job working for Snapchat or Google, or BuzzFeed or Vice?
I think
This is an opportunity.
racetrack up there.
This is an opportunity zone Venice traditionally has been a staging zone, not for diversion back home. It's been a staging zone for absorption into the creative community of Los Angeles. And this is cutting off. This is sort of like cementing in the LA River. You're taking all these creative dreamers that come here, and you're sending them, you're cementing in the walls of them, bringing their creativity and their new ideas and their new young perspectives here to this community. It's a tragedy. This is an economic opportunity zone that you're cementing doors.
But I feel like, I choose to think that people can be more creative with a good night's sleep and a good meal in their stomach and can have a little space to feel safe.
And they've been doing that up until you guys created this 5-block enforcement zone where 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, you're going to have a foot patrol 24 hours a day trying to find a pretext to wake us up so that we won't get a good night's sleep. I generally sleep till 8 o'clock every morning, and I'm going to be told that that's a crime, that I need 10 hours of sleep. I'm 64 years old. I'm going to be told that I have to pack up my tent and unpack it every day, and I've done this when I've needed to at times, and it takes me 3 hours. It takes me an hour and a half to pack it up. It takes me an hour to unload it and keep myself in it every night. Because of my age and my leg conditions, I'm only good for 4 hours a day standing on my feet. If I'm forced to put my tent into a 60-gallon bag every day just because I need to stay here and I have no other place to go than the place that I've lived for the last 10 years, I'm going to be reduced to 1 hour of productive activity every day.
Have you shared this with the council office?
I am sharing it. You can bet.
Okay.
I was really encouraged by what Councilman Lee did out in Chatsworth when he declared a moratorium. We want the services. We need the showers. We've been desperately needing the toilets and having the pit stop attendants and the new trash cans. I sat in front of Google for 21 days, 24/7 on water only to get pit stop to Los Angeles. And now that they're bringing out showers and they're proving so successful, I was the one. Mike Bonnet had never heard of pit stop until I heard this. But he's been telling me that he didn't have he and his staff have been telling us that they don't have the authority to manage or tweak or make or fit this citywide program that the mayor has created for each individual area. John Lee has just shown that's simply not true. John Lee has it, and it was laid out in an interdepartmental memo about a month ago, that you guys on the interdepartmental level looked at where a lot of the reforms that you had tried out in the last year and a half were going, and the main complaint was, well, we cleaned up the encampments, but the residents and the businesses are still screaming, well, they're still there. Yeah, the camps are cleaner, but they're still there. When are you going to get them out of there? And the city bowed to that pressure and said, okay, we're going to go back to the old model of anybody who calls up and complains, that's where we're going to send the cops, not where they're needed, but where some resident who just doesn't want to look at a homeless person, whether they're neat and clean and quiet or not, they want them out of here. And so they said, the bad side of that is they said council districts that want to do that can now get away with doing that again, up the level of shipping people out. But on the other side of that, it gives each council district to up the level of their compassion and humanity. And that's what I think Mike should be doing here, because we've got the largest on-the-street homeless encampment outside of Skid Row that is about to be faced with handcuffs.
I think
starting March 9th.
I think the more he hears from his constituents about that, it's really important. And just know that LASA co-authored something called Unsheltered Guidance of how people who are on the streets should be treated, and we stand by those. So.
Do you think I should be expelled from the enhanced enforcement zone for needing to sleep till 8 o'clock every morning?
So, and again, I have nothing to do with that. That's the city. LASA does not participate in any of
I have a 2-man tent. It's right next to Google, and there's 6 feet of sidewalk around it, a very wide sidewalk. I've been there for 8 years. Google people all say hello to me every morning. But I've already gotten 2 infractions for sleeping past 6 a.m. And I've been told the next one's going to be a misdemeanor, and so I'm going to go to trial. I'm going to have 5 days in a courtroom. I'll see a prosecutor, a judge, a courtroom, a public defender, to have 12 jurors have to sit there and take time off from work to hear about the fact. We've got an old man over there who chooses not to go into the shelter because it's America, and he chooses to be a street vendor in Venice Beach and do what Flower Children, Beats, and Beatles did to make this place famous. Snapchat didn't make Venice famous. Google didn't make Venice famous. And, you know, and so a jury's going to stand up and say, hey, how many jury trials am I going to have to go through to get my 2 hours of sleep every morning? I think the best solution would be, we should be declaring that area a safe zone, an enhanced safety zone, and people will flock to it. You know, you have the triage things. You have to say the residents and the homeless, and you know, here the longest should get the first priority to the 100 or 200 slots. I think we could create in that area 400 slots. That would be half the on the street homeless. And twice the number of people we could put in that safe zone that we're able to put in here. And we could deliver them the same service. All of them.
I think you have some great ideas, and I really hope the city, you and the city can talk and try to flesh some of those out, because your perspective is really important. I remember you, I used to work at St. Joseph Center, and so I remember saying hello to you every day. And
I recognize it.
Yeah.
But you know, I mentioned this to Daniel Tam last year. We had a meeting at Venice Clinic where we presented these ideas, and we even costed it out. Shared housing costs $5,000 to $7,000 per client to put 4 people in a 1-bedroom of a 4 or 5 bedroom house. For the same amount, people can have, and people don't like those shared living situations. They bail on them within 6 months to a year. Whereas people have been living in tents and their RVs in these areas for 5 and 10 years, and that's going to take another 5 or 10 years before we get the affordable housing crisis in the state at the minimum, even begun to make an impact on it. And we presented, so I'm glad that some of the districts are starting to take seriously the idea that in the interim of the state of emergency, that we might, God forbid it ever become a federal emergency, because Donald Trump is just going to lock us all up in camps. But a state of emergency, declaring that we need to put up some safe zones until we address the situation, would stabilize and allow a lot of us here to continue to contribute to the creativity and imagination of Venice Beach instead of the criminalization.
Well, your voice is hugely valuable, so please keep
So
talking.
is yours.
Well, I'm here about a service, so. But
all of it.
Okay, people, I hope you enjoyed the tour. We've been on there for 1 hour and 32 minutes. New shelters, the bridge, housing. All right, people, I'm gonna call it. Get to LAX. But I hope you guys learned something. I did. All right, let me try to get out of here. It's this way. All right, talk to you guys later. Hope you enjoyed.